Hello boys and girls, and welcome to a very, very special video. Today we are at Cadwell Park, where we try and get the top spot on our first ever in real life racing event. Now, my name's Basic Ollie, or my channel's called Basic Ollie. I am a sim racer, I have been for many years now, but thanks to Jimmy Broadbent and Team 87, they've given me the opportunity to drive one of their cars, the red MX-5, to see if sim racers can really hang it in the real world and see if, you know, we actually have the talent to transition from sim racing to real life racing. So that's what we plan to do this weekend. Now, as you can see, it's absolutely awful out there. It's been raining all morning, but regardless, we're going to turn up with a smile on our face and we're going to do our absolute best here. For Jimmy and Team 87 in the red MX-5, we are in the classic and retro class. Now, if you don't know what time attack is, which is the event we're doing, it's basically where you get like a qualifying and race session. You get a few practice and warm up as well, but the main point is for qualifying and race session, you get points depending on how quick your lap time is. So qualifying is worth half of what you get in the final sprint. So you get a qualifying and a final sprint on the Sunday and the Monday, the 2 days that we're racing. So essentially what we want to do here is just, like I said, we want to prove that sim racers can transition from sim racing to real life. So without further ado, let's park the Golf up, get ourselves in our suit and get ready for our first session of the day. Right, so we're in the tent, as you can see. Seb Praga, Seb MX-5. I've got my race suit on now, so all suit food. Went to scrutineering, that's all done, so they're happy with the suit. Car's already done as well, so it's just a case of going to the driver briefing, and then once the driver's briefing is done, I think they're going out about 9 o'clock, wasn't it? 20 past 9, so we'll have a little bit of a wait, but to be honest with you, I don't mind. It's freezing out there, it's raining, and yeah, the suit's nice and warm, so yeah, we're all good.
Okay, this is a practice session, Ollie in the Mazda, session 1.
Yeah, we're all good.
Right, enjoy it, mate.
So, wait a second, what's your long 2 seconds? As soon as the flag drops, hit that. Start, yeah? Yeah, as soon as they say go, hit the start button, you know how much time you got.
Yeah.
Have fun, mate.
Yeah, we'll do. Here we are then, boys and girls, getting ourselves ready to go on track for our first lap in the Mazda MX-5 here on the Sunday. It's very, very wet out here, as you're about to see, as you probably see already. Extremely damp, lots of puddles, but to really get my point across, you'll see what it's like on the straight, because it's pretty bad. But coming out of the pits, just trying to get an idea for the conditions, just changing gears nice and early, just like a sighter lap really. It's green flag straight away, but you can see I'm very, very timid. And as we get onto the main straight, you can see the puddles and the splash. Just look at the windscreen as we go on the main straight. It's yeah, it's just very, very wet out here at Cadwell for this early morning session. But nevertheless, we'll still do our absolute best and try and set ourselves a quick time if we can. But we've got to make sure we don't spin first. And that was spooky. That was a real spooky moment there. I can't lie to you, because I really didn't think I was pushing there, and it still went on me. But yeah, anyways, couple laps in, and this is our best lap of the session. So let's go down the main straight, braking very early for turn 1, staying in 5th gear, only touching the curb a little bit. It was still very wet out there, so I didn't really want to use too much of the curb. Down into 4th gear, we're only doing about 50 miles an hour at this point. Very wet still out there on the track. It stopped raining though, thankfully, and yeah, we can get on the power later than what we'd like, but yeah, still managed to get on the power nonetheless. So we're going down the park straight now. Normally in the dry here, you can probably get to about 110 miles an hour in the dry. We're braking at the 2 marker board on the left-hand side. Going from 5th into 3rd, because I struggle with the gear changes with this H-shift pattern gearbox, so I'm just using that for now. Whee! You can see there, just a lack of grip, because it might not look that quick. But I can assure you, in these wet conditions, this was actually a pretty good time. We are on full wets here, so we do have the luxury of wets, but they are pretty warm, these wets, or so Jimmy tells me. Braking for this downhill section into Mansfield, turn 8 here. Again, nice and easy on the throttle, and yeah, as soon as it starts to straighten up a little bit, we put our foot down. This one here, normally you brake under the bridge, but you can see I'm very, very early on the brakes. Into 3rd gear, and then, yeah, not using as much of the curb on the inside as you could there. And as we go through turns 11 and 12 there, and then we enter the mountain section early on the brakes, keeping it in 4th gear here. Just trying to get a feel for the, look at that, trying to get a feel for the grip. You can see just nothing out there, just absolutely nothing. So yeah, it felt like 4th bogged down, so I went 3rd, and yeah, a little bit sketchy to say the least. And then we go through turn 18 of the barn, and we are going down the main straight, and we'll set ourselves a time of 2 minutes 1.4. Not too shabby, and actually the fastest in our class for the session.
P4, mate. What, I have everyone? Fucking yeah, flying. Oh, I can't believe it.
Well fucking done.
Fucking cheers, mate.
Fucking right session, mate.
You tell me, I can't take the helmet off. Wow. Chuffed. Absolutely chuffed. 4th, baby. That's not bad, eh? That's with other classes as well, so I don't know where we are. Genuinely. In our class, I don't know where we are. I really don't. So yeah. Hey.
Alright, this is session 2, practice, official practice.
Have fun.
Cheers, mate.
Now, I wish I could say practice went as well as the warm-up session in the morning. At this point, the track is starting to dry up. As you can see, the sun is out, but we were waiting for an absolute eternity whilst we were waiting for the other session to finish. It must have been delayed, but you can see I've fast-forwarded this. I've been sat here for about 15-20 minutes, and the GoPro battery is dying, absolutely dying. But we finally got ourselves back on track after what felt like an hour delay, but it was only about 20 minutes. And the traffic in this session was horrendous. So basically, it normally only go out with 3 other classes, 3 full classes. This one had 5 because it had the Hondas there that were racing, and there was literally about 20 Hondas going around with us. So it was just a constant battle with other Hondas to get some free space. And when I did, the red flag was unfortunately dropped, and you're going to see why as we go through the last corner here. Unfortunately, one of the Hondas dropped it on the exit of turn 18. I'm not quite sure how, but there's a wheel there, and there's the driver there, not looking too pleased. You can see his battered EP3 Civic Type R. So when there's a red flag, you pull into the pits here, and because there's 2 pits, like there's the exit from the track and then the pits. But yeah, unfortunately, that was the end of our session. lighter then, as you can see the track has dried up, and you know it gets serious when the stopwatch is on the screen. So this is our best lap of the qualifying session, going into turn 1 much later on the brakes this time. And yeah, you can see the grip is just not quite there yet. I'm still fighting with the steering wheel going into turns 2 and 3, but you can see the grip is definitely there. A little bit twitchy on the exit, a little bit scared of going running wide there, and then just losing the rim, plummeted into the tyre barrier on the right hand side. Overtaking his old Honda on the right there, looking for our braking point just past the 2 metre board. I say 2 metre board, the board with 2 lines in it, and yeah, get real sketchy in turn 4 there as we go into 4th gear. And yeah, this one here, as you go from 5, 6 and 7, you've really got to run the car out wide. Whoa, a little bit too much curb there. You can tell this is definitely more of a push lap. Down into 3rd gear, harden the brakes as the tarmac changes colour into turn 8. Now, there is technically turn 9 and 10 here. If you go right there, you can see that chicane as we go past the Fiesta. Braking under the bridge this time, nice and hard, into 3rd gear, chucking that thing into the chicane. Little bit twitchy, still not quite there yet, but we're pushing, baby. Right, braking as we can see the escape road on the left, 2 wheels on the curb on the right, and then 2 wheels on the curb on the left again, 2 wheels on the curb on the right once more, and then hard on the brakes, lock in the brakes, you can hear that, wow! And yeah, not quite got the talent there to go from 3rd to 2nd, so we just put it in 3rd. Sketchy on the exit of turn 18. We're going to cross the line here at Cadwell Park, our first run in the dry as such, for 147.1.
Heroic, mate. 47.1.
Woo! Yeah!
Mate, amazing. And you were just doing 47, 47.
Yeah.
46 in there, easy, mate.
Yeah, gotta get it. Gotta get it.
Hop out, mate.
Thank you, mate.
You're right, it's not a shot. Well done, mate.
Quite tiring, if you don't believe it.
Oh, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Jeez.
How are you feeling after that one?
Amazing. Yeah, amazing. I keep thinking to myself, there's more time there, you know?
Cool. Right. Session 4, final.
Smash it, mate.
Have fun. Cheers, D. You have a good one, mate. You too.
Here we are then, no messing around. Let's have a look at our fastest lap of the session in the final. Full points on offer here as we go through turn 1. Very, very late on the brakes this one. Into 4th gear aggressively. There's a little bit of oil that spilled on the track earlier, so you've got to be a little bit careful. Fighting the steering wheel as we go through turns 3 and 4 here. Nice exit onto the park straight. Maximising 4th gear there, and you can see, well, you can't quite see, but the dial there, we're at 110 miles an hour before we are hard on the brakes between the 1 and 2 barrier there, and on to turn 4 there. We get ready for turn 5. Flat now, flat. You've got to be brave. You've got to be brave. It's really twitchy. Look at that. It is very, very twitchy. But if you've got some plums and you're flat out there, you can gain some time. Just go through the gooseneck. 6 and 7. What a chicane that is, by the way. And again, as the tarmac changes is when I'm braking, but I actually do it a little bit later there. You can hear the tyres locking up a little bit there again as we go into 4th gear, and we're looking for these uphill sections. Uphill chicane, absolutely amazing. Look how much more of the curb we're using this time. Still not quite brave enough to have my foot planted through there, and I wish, watching this back, I wish I was a bit braver. Just tapping the brakes going into the mountain section now. Again, keeping it in 4th gear is my preference, and then nice and late on the brakes. Didn't lock up this time, into 3rd gear. I wish I could have got 2nd nailed for that. As you can see, it bogs down a little bit, but I just couldn't quite get it from 4th to 2nd. I was struggling. A little bit twitchy on the exit of 18. But we go down the main straight once more, and we're going to set our best lap of the session in the final of a 1:46.7.
Yeah.
Come on!
46 in the last lap.
Yes! Come on! Woo!
That's the first trophy this car's ever won.
Yeah!
Well done, mate.
Come on, oh, amazing! Oh, yes, it is, baby.
Yes, mate. Fucking P2. 146.6 in the last lap.
Yeah.
Fucking legend. Well
Come
done,
on.
mate. Trophy. It's the first trophy this car's ever won.
Yeah!
Well done, mate.
Come on, oh, baby!
Right, let's get it in. Fucking yes, Ollie, mate. Well done. Proud of you, well done.
Formulas of the past, bring them on stage, use them again. And that's how the DVD and prototype class was born.
What does it smell like? That's all I'll say.
Yes, sir. We've got a bit of time on this level right now. So you're on there with that one. Let me just pull that. You can pull your tape when you're on. This one here.
Right, so session 1 of day 2. Kill it, Nate.
Cheers, mate.
All right then, day 2, Monday at Cadwell Park, on a mission to try and find ourselves a 2nd trophy, but unfortunately, it's going to be difficult because last night in our last session, unfortunately, the MX5 got very poorly, and the radiator is it's not in top condition. Let's just put it that way, and yeah, we just had to do a few sight laps first to see what the radiator was like, but yeah, it was very poorly.
So at the moment, where are you? There, on a 205. obviously you've not been pushing at all, I take it, yeah. So just have a quick look at that now, make sure it's sealed and then fucking run to the end. You have got 4 minutes left, you can get a couple of good runs in.
Okay.
You're all good, mate, just push down to the end, yeah?
First session.
Good. It was just really greasy out there, like really greasy in the final sector. So it was quite scary. And properly, rear end got real loose in turn 2. So it proper went on me, and then I went over the curb, and then there was another red MX5 behind me, so I was like, sorry. But yeah, no. It's I'm glad we've got a little bit of time before we actually have to race, or do proper practice or quali, because it's just so greasy. So it's like there's no confidence in the grease. It's weird. Like you want to push because it looks dry, but yeah. Hello.
How are you feeling today? How are you feeling about the weekend as a whole?
Well, I've got my podium, which I could only have dreamt of. So I get to see these awesome cars going around. I get to drive Jimmy's MX5. I mean, don't get much better than that, to be honest, is it? So yeah, I'm very, very, very happy. So
how are you feeling about today? What are you trying to achieve today?
Well, honestly, another podium would be great. Another podium would be great. The car in P1 is just too quick. I don't know what it's got, but it's 3-4 seconds a lap quicker. You can only assume it's just got loads more horsepower on the straights, because MX5's quick in the corners. So I don't know. We're going to need some luck, I think, if we're going to get a P1 today. But I'm happy to take a podium. And I've already got my trophy, so it'd be nice to add another one. Who knows? Fingers crossed we'll have another one.
Pretty big achievement, well-meaning pedals generally. I can think of other places where if somebody were to catch fire, they'd be quite happy. But not here. This is not the place.
Okay, this is Monday, session 3, qualifying.
The one. Let's do it, dude.
Just win.
Oh, it's easy, mate.
Bloody win.
Easy, mate. Easy game.
So before we jump right ahead into the quali session, who wants to see me bin it going down the mountain? Right, now we've got our first spin / crash out of the way. Let's have a look at our fastest lap of the session. Very late going into turn 1, late on the brakes, struggling a little bit with 4th gear there, but yeah, on the power pretty much straight away. Really attacking the entry into turn 3. Nice lines there, and you can see the grip on the car was really good. The track state actually on this Monday was much better than the day before. Now look at my brake mark here, much closer to the 1-line ball there, straight into 3rd gear, too much on the curb, gets a little bit sketchy on the exit, but yeah, we managed to collect it, and you can see really pushing now, trying to just get absolutely everything I can out of the car as we go through the gooseneck through turn 6 and 7. Now I can't lie to you, after that spin I was losing some time going through there because I was a little bit cautious because I pushed there once, and you can see the difference. Going through turn 8 and into 3rd gear, you can really see the car kind of snap out there. I was just late putting it into 3rd gear, I think. All the way maxing the revs out in 4th gear, straight into 3rd gear there, using as much curb on the left, and I actually was flat there. It didn't sound like it, but I had my foot flat there, and the engine just about taking the beating. I was giving it through the mountain section. You can absolutely threw it in here. Absolutely love this final sector. Finally got into second gear this time. Huzzah! And you can see the power there much better, but I did end up running wide there. And that did cost me a temp or two. Much smoother exit through turn 18. But that is going to be our best lap of the day as we cross the line for 1 minute 46.018.
Now, please. Cool. Okay, so yeah, Ilya really. I mean, that car is a bit quicker than this. So don't go out, be a hero.
Yeah.
I mean, unless you're going to find about a second, which is going to be pretty tricky.
Yeah, I think so.
I think just, I mean, go do what you want to do, but don't push to the point of trying to beat someone, because I don't think that's going to happen unless he breaks. Eden is always looking a bit shaky in the micro. That car's not been very well this weekend, so. You've got a pace for an easy P4. I know it's not a podium, but if you can just do a 46.0 again, or even a 45, you're going to be in the best place you can be if someone else breaks. Yeah, absolutely. So that's really it, mate. But you've been killing it, dude. I've been so impressed with you. Well, thanks for the opportunity, mate. Simple as that. From nothing to this, and this is a fun car. It's a difficult car to drive sometimes, but it's a fun car to drive. So it's been the best experience I've had ever. The best thing I've ever done. So. I'll never be able to thank you enough, mate. That's alright, mate. I'll take a big old invoice afterwards. That's how you thank me. Yeah. Amazing, mate. I'm not sure I can get back up now. There you go.
Just get your final thoughts as well, mate, before you head out.
I'm going to do a 45 flat. No, I'm joking. Yeah, Jimmy's spot on. I mean, as much as I want to try and get P3, realistically, the three cars in front of me are quicker. So it's going to be very, very tough. I think a 45's in me, but it's how much I want to do it versus the risk versus reward kind of thing, you know? Because again, it's not my car. If I crash it, and I nearly crashed it, you know, earlier, you know, it's risk versus reward. I mean, I want to get a 45 personally because I'm so close to getting it. So yeah, I think forget about everyone else, get the 45, and if I get the 45, I'll be chuffed and just go from there. I've still got a trophy from yesterday, so trophy's a trophy. Be nice to add a second one, but let's not get greedy. Let's just enjoy the day. It's all about getting better anyways, and fingers crossed again. I don't know what I'm saying it, but we might get somewhere. So yeah, come on.
Now you're probably wondering why my fastest lap was actually in the quali and not in the final. Well, sadly, you're going to figure out why pretty damn quickly as we get ourselves on track for the final session of the weekend in the MX-5. Remember when I mentioned the radiator earlier in this video? Well, unfortunately, that issue is going to pop up. As you can see, the temperature is just short of 90 degrees. Pretty standard for the car that's just come out and done a warm-up lap or two. Now, just a lap later, as you can see, it was still fine. But one lap after that, after a few push laps, the rear just kept sticking out, and I didn't understand why. As you can see through here, like the track, look at that, I'm not pushing, and the rear is really not happy. So I eventually, 1 lap later, looked down to my left, and you can see it's 120 degrees oil temperature. So I double check, and as soon as I see it, I back off. But unfortunately, there's nothing we can do. The car just kept sticking out. The oil temperature was all over the place, and we've got no choice but to retire the car. But yeah, unfortunately, that was our day over with. And with that, it was a big fat DNF. No podium for us. Last place on the Sunday, but on the Monday, sorry. But what can you do, eh? What can you do?
Engine's on fire.
Not fire, it's steaming.
Yeah. No, I think it's done. I think it's done.
Are you okay?
I'm okay, but every time I tried to go on a push lap, they just had no grip, and I didn't. It was very weird that I can't explain it. Every turn I went in, the rear was just stepping out, so I was really concerned. And then after a couple of laps, I kept checking it, and then one lap later it was like 110. So something happened. It's just no grip, no grip.
Yep.
So ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, unfortunately, that is our time at an end. I'm afraid the QT gave up the ghost. I went out for the final session, did my warm-up lap, then did a second lap, and the rear was really loose, and I couldn't understand why. So I gave it a couple more laps, and it kept doing the same thing, it kept stepping out where it's never really stepped out before. And I checked the temperature gauge, it's at 110 degrees, which is not good. So I slowed down immediately, pulled it into the pits, and it's just game over. The radiator was fixed the best it could be, but it was just never gonna. It was so close to lasting, so close, but nothing you can do. So it's been an amazing day or weekend. We got more than we could have dreamed of. We got a podium, we got a new PB. We've driven in dry, wet, intermediate conditions. We've experienced mechanical failure. We've spun. We've nearly binned it going down the mountain. Ignore that. Nothing. Yeah, it's been brilliant. And yeah, we can't thank Jimmy enough. It's been unbelievable. So yeah, we'll sign off now, and yeah, fingers crossed we get to do this one day. Don't know when. Yeah, maybe, just maybe. Maybe my head won't be as fat then. But, yeah, no, thanks very much for watching. And, yeah, take care.